I don't need to be on anybody's team.
Dolores, I am so excited about this upcoming season. It is going to be so great. But how do you feel going into it? Are you excited? Are you anxious? Are you a little nervous?
For the first time, I'm anxious. I don't get anxious. I don't get nervous. I usually just go with the flow. I have never in 7 years been anxious about anything. But, this is a lot about me, a lot about my life, a lot of vulnerability. Like, I'm not, it's out of my comfort zone. Right.
How did you kind of did you ever get yourself comfortable during this season?
No. And I'm less comfortable that I have to watch it now. And now everybody's saying, so that's how it works out. It's funny. When I first started, Joe Gorga gave me the advice he's like, just enjoy it, then take a break. And then you go through it again. And that's when it airs is when you kind of have to live it.
Right.
Because when you're filming or in real life, right, things are done that day and it's over. You can't re-look at it unless it's a video. How often is that? But now you have to relive it. And now there's added stuff.
Right.
As you saw from the first episode. Definitely. There's things that happened on the first episode that I didn't know were said. And that's a first for me too.
What was surprising to you about the first episode of what was said kind of behind your back?
Just, there were things that I didn't hear that were said that I didn't really appreciate, although it's like meritless, it's just, I didn't know how really nasty it was. So,
yeah. Did you ever expect you and Jennifer to blow up the way that it did?
No, I really wasn't looking for that. It had been so long since we were in New York. And I thought maybe when I saw her at the roller skating party, that maybe we would just at least say hello to each other, but she kept like kind of running away from me. So I didn't expect to speak to her at the next scene, but I didn't want them left out either. So it just wasn't the time or place. When I want to speak to somebody about what's going on, it's not going to be about, I'm not going to speak to 50 people before I speak to you. That's just not how I am. I don't even respond well to that. So that's where a lot of our miscommunication came from.
Right. Do you feel like a lot of this was just miscommunication? And after that fight, were you like, I am done with this friendship?
No, because when you're in a good place, like I happen to be like, here I am bringing my cute boyfriend in and he's so excited and everybody's having a good time. If there was ever a time for that to happen, it was then, because when you're really happy, you don't really get that angry about things.
Yeah, no, definitely. What did you make of some of the insults that she was kind of flinging your way during that conversation?
Again, I tunnel out when somebody doesn't let me speak, and it's a one-way conversation. It's just like, you ever hear like on Snoopy, on the Peanuts, when it's like, wah, 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 when the teacher talks? That's what I hear. I can't explain it any other way. I just tunnel out. Sometimes I get aggressive or angry, but it wasn't a time that I wanted to do that. Here's my Paul walking in and everybody's embracing him, and I love my friends. I really do. So, and I've always been, and everyone knows this, I've been more upset about not getting along with Jennifer than I even want to admit to, which I have. I felt bad. Because I did feel that I was a good friend. You know? It's okay to disagree about that. It's really okay. But I thought we spoke about it and moved on from it. And then I have a problem when it's not. It is what it is.
Did the two of you eventually get into a better place this season?
Yeah, stay tuned.
Okay. Obviously, we're going to see your relationship this season, which you seem so happy. Like you said, were you very nervous about opening up this part of your life? And were you ever maybe like, I don't know if I want to put him on TV?
I don't want to put him on. Absolutely not. But I know what I signed up for. And being such a part of my life, he wasn't somebody who I go out to dinner with once in a while. He's not just a friend. He's a part of my life now. So yeah, I'm nervous for him because, it's kind of like, this is a big deal to people. Paul's a very successful electrical contractor in the city. He owns a company called Eco Electric. And he's done so well, and he came to this country alone in his 20s, and he's just like, you know, took over so much. And then I'm like, you may have done that. May have left your whole family behind in another country and came here and become this huge success in one of the greatest places in the world. But I'm going to tell you, I don't know that you're prepared for this. Mm-hmm. And like I said, it's not easy. So kudos to him for being such a good sport about it. But again, now he has to live and a lot of conversations revolve around our relationship, and I haven't seen them yet. Yeah. So I don't know how Paul's going to handle them. I'm a very easygoing person. I let a lot of things roll off my back, but I can't say that for everyone.
Right. How did you prepare him for this?
Well, you can't prepare for it.
Sure.
Because you never know how something's going to be or how anything's going to go. But I did tell him he didn't have to do it. Mm-hmm. I did. And you know, that would have been something we had to consider. If he wasn't going to be a part of something that's such a big part of my life, maybe the relationship would go in a different place or maybe whatever. But he said no, you know, he really did. And like I said, seeing yourself on TV, like, what are people going to think of me? And you have this great relationship with Frank. But I said, I told him and I explained to him, the people that really care about me, which I'm very lucky to have that, are going to be happy for me. Mm-hmm.
Is it ever hard for him? Because obviously, you know, you and Frank are like fan favorites of so many people, and people for so many years have been rooting for you guys to get back together. Obviously, that's not going to happen. But does that ever bother him that so many people still root for your relationship with Frank?
He hasn't said that it does.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
But I try to put myself in his shoes all the time. And that's another thing. I'm very mindful of him and his feelings and the situation. So I tried to make him, and I think everyone tried to make him as comfortable as you could.
Yeah. Did Frank try to make him as comfortable as he could as well?
Yeah, I do. I think Frank wanted so badly just to be like, hey, bro, we're bros, you know? And Paul's like, but I'm just getting in a relationship with her. I'll get to know you, but I don't want to be in a relationship with you and Dolores.
Sure. That makes sense.
And I tried to explain, Frank, I'm establishing my life now. Mm-hmm. And that's the other thing. The dynamics have changed a little bit because I wanted this relationship to be different than my other ones.
Right. And it seems like Frank does, I mean, based on what we've seen in the trailers and things like that, it does seem like Frank has a hard time with the relationship in the beginning. Was that surprising to you? I mean, he said that you were kind of off limits, and did you have to create some new boundaries?
Yeah, it was. And yeah, there were boundaries that had to be created for this relationship where they weren't in the past. But you know, although I dated someone in the past for a while, it was a different relationship. You know, you have to treat everything is different. So this is a serious relationship. There's a lot of intention here about a future, and whether there will be one or not, tomorrow is not promised to anyone, right? Mm-hmm. But I never wanted to be because I didn't consider someone's feelings or because we didn't do the right thing or make boundaries. If it doesn't work, it's not going to be because of that.
Right. How are he and Frank now? Because I know when I spoke to you guys at BravoCon, it was still maybe a little awkward at times, but are things good now? Yeah,
like I said, it could be awkward at times. I think Frank felt like, why doesn't he just want to be my friend? And he felt like, but I just want to be, with you. And they just had to get to know each other. Mm-hmm. And I understood that. And they had to both be patient. And, it's okay now.
Yeah. How does Brittany feel about all of this? Does she ever feel threatened at all? Or do you have a good relationship with her?
Brittany understood my relationship with Frank because Brittany and Frank had known each other for a long time. Mm-hmm. Brittany and I have known each other for a long time. Everyone that really knows us knows that Frank and I were great co-parents. We were great ex-husband and wife, but it was just that. It was a friendship before it was anything. We were parents before we were anything. And people that know us really well knew we'd never get back together, but that's what it was. Mm-hmm.
Do your kids absolutely love Paul?
They do. Yeah.
That's good. Good. And like you said, obviously the future, we never know what's going to happen, but it seems like the two of you are talking about next steps based on what we see in the trailer and things like that. Do you want to get married again?
That's not my goal, really.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
But I want to be with someone who has the intention of that. I do. I'm in my 50s. He's old, he's in his late 40s. Paul, I'm actually a little older than him.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're at this stage of my life, I have everything I want. Do I want that commitment? Yes. Do I want to belong to someone in that way? Yeah, but not like it doesn't have to be a marriage. There's other ways that you can be that way. I wouldn't tell a young girl to stay with someone if they weren't get married. I wouldn't. Mm-hmm. But I'm not that.
Right, definitely. Well, I'm glad to see you so happy. It seems so great. And you all take a trip to Ireland, which I'm sure is going to be so much fun. What can you kind of tease about that?
Best trip ever.
Yeah.
Best cast trip ever. And it was fun. There was a lot going on there. We stayed in a castle. It was haunted. We had these, we were running in and out of each other's rooms. It was like 600 years old. The family lived in it that owned it. And it was just, oh my God. We had a chef. The grounds were amazing. It was a real castle. I
cannot wait to see it.
But that's Ireland, And yeah, just, it's so much fun. I hope that when you see it, you get to see all the fun that we had, from the pub crawl to so much fun.
It's going to be a good one. And, we have some new Housewives in the mix this season. How do you feel like they fit in? Was it an easy transition?
It was. And that's not typical.
Right.
I think because they're people, we know them, right? We all know that I've known Rachel for a very long time. I know Jen Fessler. I know Danielle. And I think that they really blended well. It was the time for this to happen. I think timing is everything. And I think we were ready for some new faces.
Definitely. No, I was pleasantly surprised watching the first episode because like you said, you never know how that transition is going to be. And they seem to fit right in, which seems like a lot of fun, but I'm sure that they cause a little bit of drama as well.
Whenever in the history of New Jersey, whenever there's somebody new thrown in the mix, it's a cocktail for a disaster.
Right. Totally. I mean, speaking of cocktail for disaster, obviously we come off of the reunion and Joe, Melissa, and Teresa are not in a good place. And that kind of spills over until the first episode. Do you feel that if Teresa just asked Melissa to be in the wedding, that this could have been avoided?
No, I don't think it was. I honestly don't think it was one specific thing. It wasn't. This is many years. Waters run deep here. And no one wants to see this. So no, it's not just one thing. Yeah.
Is it hard for you, because you have such a history with both of them way before the show, was it hard for you to witness this? And did you ever feel like you were caught in the middle?
I'm always caught in the middle, but it's how you handle it. I don't encourage. I'm a sounding board, but Joe and Teresa, I think it's a sibling matter. It's not a friend should get involved matter. When it's family, you stay out of it. That's how I say you support them. You support them getting along. I don't think you need to instigate or encourage anger. And I just wish that things could be different, but that's between the two of them and nobody else.
Right. Do you feel like things could be different? When I spoke to Teresa, she said that she doesn't hold a grudge against the two of them anymore, but it seems like for her, that chapter is closed.
Yeah. I mean, that's what she says. I can't speak for either one of them.
Yeah.
All I can say is that whatever it takes for them to have peace in their life. And if that means not talking anymore or being estranged from each other, then yeah, they have to be happy. This can't go on like this, really.
Right. Are you on anybody's side in this? And what do you think fans are going to think after they watch this entire season?
I always say that you can predict the weather better than you can predict how the fans are going to react to something.
Sure, that's true.
I do not know, but I can say as far as me, no, you don't take a side with family. And I've told Joe this, I know them to be a brother and sister who loved each other very much. And that's who I will always remember them as.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I don't think Teresa wants anyone to take a side.
Mm-hmm.
Either one of them wouldn't expect me to take a side because of my history here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What was your reaction when you heard this rumor that Melissa cheated on Joe? Did you believe any of it?
I don't believe it. Mm-hmm. I don't believe it. And there's always rumors going around about something. Listen, we're in the public eye, right? Mm-hmm. So people form their opinions. We just happen to be under the glass for a lot of things. And people can form opinions for whatever. People can accuse people of things, gossip, fault. You see on all the franchises, oh, this person was married. Then all of a sudden they weren't married because they didn't read the papers right. And yeah, so no.
Yeah. Were you surprised that Teresa asked you to be in the wedding?
I was pleasantly surprised, and I was honored to be in the wedding. And it was such a great thing to be a part of it. We've been in each other's lives for a long time. We've seen different stages of our lives together. So I really was happy to be a part of something that was so beautiful.
Definitely. Did it make you
uncomfortable? It felt like the end of an era for her, of all the struggles that she had to go through alone.
Right. Did it ever make you uncomfortable being in the wedding and knowing that Melissa wasn't in the wedding, or did that never even cross your mind?
No, because her and Melissa weren't in a good place. Mm-hmm. So I didn't expect that. You know what I mean? Like I didn't expect to be in the wedding, even though if we were in a good place.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I expected Teresa to have whoever she wanted in it.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Teresa said that she wants to move to California in 4 years. Do you think that would happen? And could you ever imagine New Jersey Housewives without Teresa?
I could not. No. Mm-hmm. And I would hate to see her go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How are you and Margaret this season? It seems like an alliance almost forms between Margaret, Melissa, and Rachel. And did that cause a divide?
Okay. Yeah. I don't need to be on anybody's team. That's okay. And it's okay. Listen, since high school, this is how I've handled things. Mm-hmm. When there's so much going on in a friend group, you're better to not be so close on one side and not the other side. You know what I mean? It's just like, let them hash it all out. Mm-hmm. That's okay. That team, it's okay.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Dolores, you've been a part of the Housewives for so many years. Is this the most explosive one yet?
I've never seen the likes of this. And I don't love it. Mm-hmm. I don't love it. Yeah. There's things there's fights, people get in friend groups, people get in fights, and they can't go so deep because of relationships. You have to come back from these things. So be mindful of, does the crime, does the punishment warrant it? Like, is it so bad? Is it so egregious what someone did to you that you have to attack them so much? Like, everybody needs to calm down. Mm-hmm. Like, calm down.
It's really good. I mean, we're asking all the housewives, who is the most underrated housewife?
I've been watching Miami a lot, and I've been watching. I don't think you could say that for just one housewife. I think there's a lot of housewives that are underrated. I was for a long time, by the way. So, yeah, I don't think it's about being underrated. It's just your time hasn't come yet.
Yeah, totally. I agree. Can't wait for this season. And thank you so much for the time. It's always so great catching up.
Thank you. Nice to see you.
For more news, content, and exclusive interviews, make sure to hit the sub, like, and bell button down below and visit usmagazine.com.